All right, what's going on, guys? First off, we got to give credit to the Falcons. They played a good game. They made plays down the stretch where it counted. I was pleased with a lot of things our team did today, but ultimately we didn't finish. We got to do a better job of finishing drives, finishing the game. A lot of things that we saw positive, we worked on throughout the week, coming out of the Washington week, all right, that we showed up in the game in a positive way. But look, big picture-wise, we got to do a better job finishing the game. That's coaching, that's playing, that's executing, that's making sure we get out there and we do what we have to do for 60 minutes. All right, that being said, a little bit for questions.
How disappointing is this loss and the mistakes keep happening?
Well, look, obviously, you prepare every week to have success, okay? You come out of any game without success, okay, and there's things that you're obviously, not happy about, okay? The key for us right now is to make sure that we go back to work, we correct the mistakes, we keep being productive in things we're doing well, and we stay together as a team and keep pushing forward. That's the biggest picture thing right now.
Joe, your defense for the second week in a row gave up a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter and in the waning moments. How do you fix that?
Go back to work and we keep on working on it. I thought they stepped up in the end of the first half, did a good job in a short field 2-minute right there. We got to keep making aggressive plays right there. Obviously it comes down to, making sure we're in the right call and executing the techniques and fundamentals at the time right there. We got to make sure we put it all together.
Coach, a lot of missed opportunities in the red zone. Penalties again, come back. You're a guy that preaches discipline constantly. How do you clean this up? This is a few weeks of this now, and I know it has to affect you. I mean, you're a guy who's disciplined, and this keeps happening. How do you clean this up?
Yeah, I think the things that showed up today in terms of the penalties on the field, really that comes down to more technique post-snap. We got to make sure we keep drilling that and correcting it in practice, make sure it doesn't show up again. That's the biggest thing. Obviously, we had 2 of the tackling penalties. I got to look at them on tape and kind of see them a little bit closer in terms of what they are. We always stress keeping our eyes up, seeing what we hit, make sure we remove ourselves in those situations. Sometimes there are bang-bang plays that are pretty close. We got to make sure we go ahead and put the players in the right position, all right, that we eliminate those shots right there.
Joe, do you have to worry about the morale of this ball club at all?
No, I think the DNA of our team is the team comes back and goes to work. Okay, look, no one's going to be happy after a loss. That's the reality of what it is, okay? The element of what we do as professionals, we got to come back and go to work. We got to watch the tape. We got to key on it. We got to prepare for a tough opponent coming up next week. So in terms of, the morale of the team, I trust in the way the guys work, the way I see them work on a day in, day out basis, and they stick together as a team. That's the biggest part right there I'm looking for is how they work.
You had a bunch of guys go down first half. Is Blake, is it as bad as it might have looked?
I haven't had any word on Blake, to be honest with you. Obviously, they took him out. I was told the same thing you guys were told me. I have not seen Blake. I have not talked to the doctors after the game concerning Blake right there. I don't have an answer on that one. Hopefully it's not serious. Blake's obviously a key part of our team. He's a leader. He's a hard worker. He's a tough dude. We'll see where he's at, and hopefully it's, hopefully he's going to trend in the right direction.
Joe, in the fourth quarter, you guys burned 2 timeouts early. I guess how much responsibility do you take for mistakes like that happening?
Well, the one we had the communication issue with the headset dropping down in terms of the coach-to-player system right there. So I want to make sure we're just in the right call. I want to make sure that we didn't, we had a third down situation. I want to make sure that with the system going down briefly that we went ahead and we handled that the right way. All right, obviously, we didn't convert on that one right there and it kept on going. In terms of the other ones right there, talk about the end of the first half timeout, that was by design to go ahead and see what they were doing at that point based on where we're at in the half, what we had coming up right there. So that was by design right there on that one.
Joe, on defense, today you had Logan Ryan and Adoree Jackson both drop interceptions. Right. Can a defense survive when its top players can't make those kind of plays?
I think those are things we talk about in terms of having opportunities and making sure we finish. We got to make sure, keep putting the players in the right position. Those guys play those plays aggressively to put themselves in position right there and get it. And obviously, things got to keep on working in practice. Jugs, machines, interception drills, things of that nature. Those things you go back to work on, you focus on, and you show the players in terms of, okay, this is what's happening. Here's what we got to keep on right now to make sure we keep pushing the right direction to fix those.
Joe, I don't want to say play scared, but does the defense in crunch time, it's the last couple of games, does defense in crunch time get nervous?
No, I don't see that at all. Now it comes down to making sure the calls are right, the execution's right at the moment right there. No, I don't see anything in terms of that.
Joe, you're working the game all intently, but can you tell the crowd was not happy at a lot of times here, and Evan Engram got booed off the field when he had a fumble, and it seemed like this was a sort of a hostile situation at times with the home crowd. Could you sense any of that?
I love our crowd. Look, it's New York. It's supposed to be a tough place to be, right? Isn't that the nature of where we're at right there? People demand excellence because that's where we're at, the biggest market. And that's what people want right there, so that's what we have to work to give them. It's not their job to show up here and just go ahead and pat us on the back. It's our job to entertain them, give them something to cheer about. That's it.
What do you say to Evan now?
Keep your head up, keep playing right there. That's it right there.
What about
To the point where even at the end, he got booed cheered, I'm sorry, for coming off the field. Like, nothing that was even his doing. What do you say to a player to handle that?
We handle what we do on the field, guys. That's the reality of what it is. Like, I got it. Like, I got booed early in the game for not going for on fourth down. We punted it, and everyone erupted and cheered when it was down inside the 5. Like, we got to make the best decisions for playing the game and putting ourselves in position for success. In terms of any reaction from the crowd, I'm never going to criticize the crowd. Are you kidding me? It's our job to entertain them. It's our job to please them. That's the reality of what it is right there. In terms of our players and reacting to that right there, look, we're supposed to have adversity. That's the nature of what we do. We talked before about pressure. There's supposed to be pressure on our job. That's the reality of what we do, what we get paid for. So in terms of, reacting to something externally, we've got to focus on what we do each play in the process of being successful.
Coach, were you happy?
Receivers impact the offense going forward. Have you heard about their status?
I haven't heard much about their status other than that they didn't finish the game today with us, obviously. Hopefully, it's a quick turnaround for both those guys. They're obviously, integral parts of our offense. I was pleased with seeing some other guys step up. Tony did a good job, made some plays early on for us right there. Colin made some nice catches down the stretch. Obviously, Kenny played today, made some big-time catches. So there are a number of other guys making plays, getting the ball in 26's hands and getting him started right there in some space. So there are a lot of positive guys stepping up right there. It's our job to make sure, whoever's available for the game, we put them in position. It's their job to go out there and execute.
Coach, how are you assessing Saquon hitting the holes out there? And can you talk about Booker being a scratch today?
In terms of the inactives, look, there's a lot that goes in every week in terms of, healthy scratches, injured scratches, whatever it may be. Obviously, we make the best decision for the team. There's multiple roles that are always involved. So for whatever player that's down for different reasons, it's not always a reflection of anything that people want to read into in terms of confidence or trusting the player. A lot of times it's just in terms of how the flow of the game is going to be played and who's available, what we have to do in terms of depth backups on different parts of the team as well.
About Saquon hitting the holes, how are you assessing the way he's going after the holes?
Yeah, I've seen him have some productive runs right there. I got to take a look at the tape before I go ahead and make any broad picture statements on that.
Up Saquon, he seemed to be stretching a lot on the sideline, kind of pulling himself out a bunch.
I didn't see anything on that. In terms of him pulling himself out, I didn't see that either. We kind of rotate and roll those backs a good bit. So in terms of Penny going in, Gary going in for him right there, he had something right there. We roll a lot.
You're a big proponent of complementary football,
yes.
The idea of all three phases play into each other. You make the decision to punt there at the 50, and obviously you're going to put it on your defense, but also I would imagine you're not expecting your punter to put the ball in the end zone. Is it more frustrating when you're trying to call the game complementary-wise and it's just not it seems like one phase is not helping out the other?
Well, all three have to play off each other, Art. So exactly what you just said right there. In terms of, we've got to make sure we execute at the time, in terms of how it comes up. Obviously, punt from the 50, we're looking to pin those guys back, put them on a long field. For that final drive, that was a big part of what we were doing. Obviously, at that point, we're looking to play to our defense and confidence in how they've been playing throughout the game, things they were doing. So, our punting game's been pretty good in the plus 50 zone right there. Keon made a big-time play earlier in the day for us. We look to play for it right there. But in terms of offense, defense, kicking game, we all obviously have to execute when the number's called.
How healthy was Kenny Galladay today? Because we saw his snaps managed, and before the game looked like you guys were really kind of deliberating about whether to play him or not.
Yeah, I'd say the medical staff gave us a green light to play, and they indicated that it was in the best interest of him to go out and play. That was something we watched throughout practice this week. We obviously managed some of the volume this week in terms of what he did and build him up a little bit. We saw enough from pregame, and the medical staff saw enough from pregame to say he was good to go, and obviously went out there and made some plays for us today. In terms of some gauge of exactly where he is percentage-wise, I couldn't speak for Kenny on that right there. I know he's a tough dude, and he plays through a lot of nicks and bumps. At this point of the year, guys, no one's 100%. There's not a player in the league that's 100% right now. So, you just got to make sure you put a guy out there who's safe to play.
Joe, what are your thoughts on that personal foul called on Xavier McKinney? In your perspective, do you think that kind of changed the momentum late in the game?
I'm not going to comment on any of the penalties or anything called right there. I'm going to make sure I check the tape right there. We got a brief shot of it on the Jumbotron. I'll take a look at it in terms of anything technique-wise. We got to coach and clean up on that right there.